So now we got to the second part of the Kaddish. There is a section that is inserted only in some Kaddish, Al Yisrael v'al Rabbanan, and that is probably the most connected to the original context of the Kaddish that was said at the end of Limud Torah. When you finish a study of Torah, the Kaddish was an idea of like, here we include everyone, even people who don't study Torah on a regular basis are all included. So it says Al Yisrael. We're asking for blessing at the end. Hina v'chizda v'rachameh. Hina is like hen in Hebrew, grace. Hizda is hesed, loving kindness. Rachameh, like rachamim, mercy. Min kodam, on kodam is in Aramaic before or on behalf of. So min kodam mareh shem avara, that on behalf of God, who is the master of heaven and earth, we will have grace and loving kindness and mercy. It's an important concept of grace. We also say it in Birkat Hamazon, the same phrase. Azan et ha'olam kulo behen behesed u'rachamim. God provides for the whole world with grace, with loving kindness, and with mercy. The idea is that sustenance alone is not enough. Grace is needed. Meaning there's a way to administer everything we have, whether it's food, clothing, our life could be very utilitarian, very practical, and it's great. But it's only survival. The Torah is not about survival. The Torah is about thriving and living to the maximum what you have, what God gives to you. So when you say Birkat, for example, hen, what is the idea of grace when you say Birkat Hamazon? You could sustain yourself in different ways. You could eat the same. Today, especially, there's pills and pastes. Astronauts who go to outer space get their portions, or you have battle rations, manot krav. It's good, it's sustaining, but you don't want to eat it every day of your life. It gets boring. But when you look at the variety and the abundance of nature that God puts in front of you, each fruit, each vegetable with a different flavor, different color, this is something that's really amazing. Think about it, even when we create flavors, humans, right? We create flavors. We always go back to the same basic flavors that are all found in nature. What are the most favorite flavors? Ask anyone. It's chocolate, vanilla, lemon, strawberry, right? With the ice cream. Where they come from? Nobody invented them. They're in nature. God could have given us the same nutritious factors with one flavor for all. We would get tired of it. And the experiment has been conducted in the desert with the man or the manna, right? God gave Bnei Israel the manna. The rabbis say it had the ability the potential to serve any flavor or any need that you have. And most probably it was something like soybeans. Because there were soybeans, and also the description is similar. With soybeans you could do anything. You could make from it oil, cheese, dairy, meat, whatever you want, right? But what did they say? Nafshenu katza b'lehem ha'kel enough. It's the same thing every day. We want to see some variety. So that's the idea of hen, hesed v'rachamim, that we go beyond just the practical and make life interesting and exciting. And of course, we speak about the protection that God will have for everyone. Who is included in this blessing? Yisrael, meaning the whole nation. We start from the whole nation. Rabbanan, Talmidehon, Talmidei Talmidehon. And the rabbis, the masters, their students, and the students of their students. Right? It's an interesting breakdown of the hierarchy of the people. So it's not to say that there is a difference between the rabbis, the teachers, and the nation. To the contrary, it starts with the nation. And it says that the role of the rabbis is to teach and to disseminate Torah as much as possible to everyone. And because if you start a chain like that, everyone is knowledgeable to an extent. Unfortunately, today, we are about concentration of power. A lot of rabbis, a lot of teachers want to keep the knowledge to themselves and not to give it to others. But it's alluded to in the Kaddish that there will be something that will let people, share knowledge with others, and that's the internet. Because today, you go there, Torah.com, Halacha.com, you can find everything online. So it's good for the people because people could challenge the rabbis when they have questions. You said A, I found it B. Say, okay, so now we have a dialogue. How is it alluded to in the Kaddish? It's for Hebrew speakers. It says, Di be'atra den, v'di b'chol atar ve'atar. right? How do you say website in Hebrew? Atar. So it's like, so it literally means the people who are in this place and in each and every place. But it says atar. So they say if you go to, you could study Torah b'chol atar ve'atar. That's the, there's rabbi-ovadia.com. There's, everything, right? It's a very good website. So this is the blessing for those who study Torah. Then we end. And there are different versions between the Ashkenazim and Sfaradim. The Ashkenazim add here with Hina v'Chizda v'Rahamei. They add mezoneh revihei and ample sustenance, parnasa, v'chaya arichei, and long life, etc. On the other hand, the Ashkenazim have the next paragraph shorter. They say yesh lama rabba mishamaya v'chaim tovim alenu v'al kol Israel. They just let there be peace from heaven and good life for us. And the Sfaradim add savar v'shu'ad hamash davar chua gula siha chapar rebach v'atzala, like 10 synonyms, and it always throws off Ashkenazim who come to say Kaddish with us. They get what is going on. But also for Sfaradim, it's so one has to be aware. If you're in a synagogue that doesn't follow your practice, that you don't follow their practice, open a siddur and follow closely when they say Kaddish. And the blessing that we ask for this, in this paragraph of the Kaddish, Haim, good life, Sava, to be satisfied, which is not the same as abundance. They're two different things. Sava is being happy with what you have. Content, right? To be content. The rabbis say that it's an interesting commentary on that. In Parashat Behar, in Vayikra, the Torah says that we have to keep Shemitah. That on the 7th year you don't cultivate the land. And then it says people would ask, "Vaya ki tomeru ma nochal b'shana shevi'it and lo nizra ve'lo nosef et tevuata." What are we going to eat on the 7th year? We're not going to have enough. So the Torah says, "V'tziviti et birchati lachem b'shana hashishit ve'asat et tevuata l'shlosh hashanim." On the 6th year, I'll give you enough blessing that will be enough for the 6th, 7th, and 8th year until you get back to business, of cultivating the land. So someone made a nice commentary. One of the rabbis says on that. Says, if you didn't ask, you didn't have to work hard. If you would not ask the question, what are we going to eat? But just, trust God. He says, don't work the land on the 6th year. Everything is going to be okay. Then what would happen would be that the food that you would get would be maybe small quantity, but you would be satisfied with that. It would satiate your hunger. Now that you ask, God will give you triple the amount, but it means also triple the work. So not having more is not always a greater blessing. And that's the idea I mentioned also when we spoke about the your mother at the Shiva, at the Askara, that the rabbi said about Sarah, bracha eta b'isata, that her bread or the dough was blessed. And when Hachamim speak about blessing in the food, they mean that people, you don't have to eat much, you don't have to have much to be content. And a lot of that has to do with the approach of people. Also, when you're a guest, when you go to someone's house, you could go to a place where there's abundance of food on the table, but the atmosphere is not good, and you walk out and you feel hungry or hungrier than when you walked in. Especially if the kind of when they say, would you like to have another cookie? And you say, I already had 2. And the host says, 3, but who's counting? So you're not happy there. Or you could go, it's called Tov Arochat Yarag Veshalom Ba Mishor Avus Veriv Bo. You could have a vegetarian, very simple meal with friends, but they're so welcoming and so hospitable to you that you feel like you had the best meal of your life. So that's the idea of Sava. Yeshua is salvation, Nehama, comfort, Shezava is a different word for Yeshua, to save one from trouble, Refuah, healing, Geula, redemption, Slicha v'chapara is forgiveness and atonement, Verevach v'atzala, and to live without oppression, Lanu chol amo Yisrael. So beautiful succession of words. Definitely it's worth praying. This is another connection to the Shiva, that after during the Shiva, during the Shloshim, we feel so downtrodden by what has happened. So when you say these words, they uplift you. Yeah, and like someone commented, when you're during the Shiva, when people come together and say it together, you realize that the people share your pain, and they're there to help you. The sense of community is very important. And we conclude with Oseh Shalom Mibramav, which is a prayer for peace. There's another segment of the Kaddish that we don't say usually, that now is only reserved for when you finish a siyum, you finish a tractate from the Talmud or an order from the Mishnah. But originally it was the Kaddish that was recited in the synagogue, and in the Yemenite tradition they still say this Kaddish, and that adds a couple of prayers before we say Be'alma diverachi oteh. Today we say in the world that He created according to His will. There's an addition here Be'alma. And after I read it, you'll understand why people omitted it. דעתי להתחדתה ולחיה מטיה ולעסקה יתון לחיה עלמה ולמבנה קרתה דירושלם ולשכלה לחלה בגבה ולמעקר פולחנה וכרעה מהרעה ולעטבה פולחנה דשמיא לעטרה וימליך קודשה בריחו במלכותי ויקרא. So if the Kaddish as it is a tongue twister, this you add that, we would never go out of the synagogue. They will stay here the whole day. So people shortened it to a more an easier version to read. But the original prayer was that we praise Hashem's name in the world, which He is going to renew the world, meaning to bring better times, revive the dead, and give them eternal life, rebuild the city of Yerushalayim, build a temple in it that it was written. Obviously, years after the destruction, remove, or do away with idolatry in Israel, restore the service of the temple, and have God reign supreme. And another reason they moved it, they took it out of the tefillah because it shows too much the will for independence. And the censors in many countries didn't like it. We had a problem of when things were published, or even in manuscripts, that foreign governments and with their usually Christianity, under Christianity, would say, we don't want you to say that. We think this is offensive, so we had to take stuff out of the Siddur. Even Alon Shabbat, in some versions, some things were taken out, so they took this out. But that's, in general, this is just the text of the Kaddish. Next time we'll talk more about the practical halachot that have to do with that, and when to say, how to say it, etc.